Hello, I am Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. What you're looking at is this is the Aluminium Rhinoceros 3. This is a test that I'm going to be doing. Basically, my next thing I want to do is take a bunch of Kerbals on a learning mission, where basically if you fly by the Mun, land on Minmus, plant a flag on Minmus, and then get back to Kerbal, you'll become a 3-star Kerbal. And 3-star pilots are really good, and 3-star engineers are really good, because 3-star pilots can maintain on maneuver nodes and targets the way the most expensive probe cores can. 3-star engineers speed up mining an awful lot, and they also enable they're also able to repair broken rover wheels. And 3-star scientists improve the amount of science you get out of various things. Specifically in a research station, they can just churn out more science. So last time I did this, I had a problem in that I couldn't actually read the whole. What I will do is I will hyper edit, because I want to get this into a particular orbit. Get that. Right, so what we're going to do is what are we around? Reference body Kerbal, so we'll go for 100,000 orbit. And because we're in space, of course, obviously we're going to end up being somewhere at night, so I'm just going to move my orbit around so I can see what's going on. Alright, there we go. So, what I want to test is, right, so this is all launch vehicles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of all the launch vehicle stuff. Right. So now I've just got, this is the bit that would go to the Mun and then to Minmus. But my lander, you see, the whole point of my lander is that it's able to decouple from this bit. So we're just ignoring all that back end stuff. So it's supposed to be able to decouple and then recouple. And that was the problem I had before. Now, before I had a funky kind of quad port. I called it a quad port, even though there were 5 docking ports to it. So it's supposed to make everything line up very, very accurately. But I had a problem in that I could not, in fact. I think I've got the same problem, in fact. Why isn't RCS turning on? Why isn't anything turning on? Now that's the back end, that's the front end. Oh, have I managed to launch without a crew? That was astonishingly unclever of me. Herg. Right, let's activate this engine. Kind of hoping that would redock. Well, I think this does demonstrate I've got the same problem. But I think I'm going to have to go back down and try this again, only with a pilot in there. Alright, so we're back in and we've got a pilot in here. Good, good, good. So, right. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to decouple. Now I can use RCS and go forwards. And I clearly have the same problem I had before. These, I'm assuming it's these rockets here. The way they're attached is just, it just seems to bring it too close to the well, again, I think that's just that might just be an assumption I'm making. But it is not letting go. All right, that's important because what that also means is if I can't let go, I similarly would not be able to dock. Now, a problem I've had in the VAB is if I try and move these far enough apart so it looks like that will actually come loose, then they're not actually attached to the craft, which is not really what I want. I mean, I'm sure technically, Kerbal Space Program treats the ship not as a single object, but as a series of parts flying more or less in formation, with joints between them. So, you know, I can cheerfully, you know, grab the offset tool and just, you know, move these out like that. And the thing will basically work, but it'll look stupid. So, let's do something that looks like you would actually function. Gives us a wider wheelbase paraphernalia. Now it's still a bit looking like it's not. In fact, you can see that it doesn't really look like it's attached there. So just move that up a little bit, and then in one, and then along one. That's not looking quite right. See, I can't move diagonally. I have this vague memory of being able to, you know what I think I'm going to do. I grab this whole thing, temporarily place it direct on like that. Anyway, I have this vague memory that you would be able to move objects in their own space, so I would be able to, even if they are at an angle like this, I would be able to move them smoothly at that angle instead of, you know, you can see that's that's aligned to the VAB as opposed to aligned to this object. I'd say this also makes the rocket look a bit even, slightly more science fiction-y, which I quite like. Just that look of those fins, I like that. So let's save that, and we'll test it again. Now, if the problem I was having is in fact that these engines were stopping it from letting go, that should now fix it. So we'll be in the dark when we launch, because that's just when everything had launched. I deliberately fast forwarded at the beginning in order to have some light to look at things. That was a good noise. But the state of light won't matter, because I'm immediately going to change things. Tell you what, I'm gonna, let's just discard that now. No, let's not do it that way. Sure, it won't actually matter. Bring the mean anomaly along so I can actually see what I'm doing. Right, so I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't make any difference discarding things at the other end of the orbit, but seeing as I'm going to be reverting back anyway, but it just doesn't seem right. Right, so we'll give that some time to, oh, we'll turn on some RCS, I guess. Let's go away. Booby doop. Right, so decouple node, float away. All right. Don't seem to be redocking, but I don't know if that might be a thing where, unless I've done something completely stupid. No, I don't think so. Oh, have I? Oh, I've put that on the wrong way. That doesn't help. That does not help at all. Okay, revert back to vehicles. I thought I'd been very careful about putting the putting that docking port on the right way around, but I think there's an issue with the VAB. Well, it's not really an issue. It's a way that it works. Right. So what do I want to do? I want to grab the heat shield, because the heat shield is what's attached to this docking port. Now, what I want is that bit with the handle facing that bit with the handle, but if I join them, okay, no, they've decided to be good. Oop. So they are now 100% definitely pointing the right way. So we'll launch, save that version, and we will launch, and we'll see what happens this time. And then we'll just have to do the fiddling again, I'm afraid. Could edit this out again like I did last time, but I'm not. So there you go. Mostly I want to edit out these bits where it just kind of takes forever to load. But doing that kind of editing is actually a bit of a pain. We done? We done. Alright, orbit select, active vessel. Simple 100,000. Apply. Graphical Matthew. Minoli, whoosh. I don't think I'm going to bother jettisoning things. Actually, I'm going to bother jettisoning things anyway, because that actually moves, because it moves to the center of gravity up where I can see what's going. Right, okay. Go on RCS. Stick up a nose. Forwards. Now that is the correct way, because that's, you can see the little handle. So I think I was right the first time. Right, there we go. Docking shear is completed. Therefore, it would appear that this works. Right, well, let's try undocking again. That's interesting. It won't let me undock. Undock, there we go. Now, there's a thing, another thing I need to check, which is that not this bit, but this bit does now have an SAS unit on it, which is it's something you need in order to stop it from. Otherwise, it'll start tumbling. But I do need to make sure that it's got either enough battery or enough solar. Is that going to work? Might not hit. There we go. All right, so that's sorted. So I can now dock and redock with that. I do need to look at my Delta V's situation, because I've given myself a very specific, that seems quite a small amount of Delta V now I think about it. Having said that, I don't know how much, I can't remember how much of this is meant to, how much of this thing is, I'm going to have to look at my Delta V's, look at my launcher, and is that maybe a transfer stage, or is that an upper stage of a single launch? I'm not really sure. But the important thing is this bit works, so I can dock and redock. That's important. I'm going to look at my Delta V's because the mission plan has changed from the original one, which is just get to the Mun and land and come back. This has got a, it's only got to fly by the Mun, and if I'm spectacularly clever, I would be able to. I'm probably not spectacularly clever. The particularly clever thing would be to come up with, so I fly by the Mun, and that then gives me a gravity boost to get to Minmus. But I still need to. I mean, I'm probably not clever enough to do that, so I probably need to plan for orbiting the Mun and then doing a launch from the Mun to Minmus. But main thing is that bit works. That's what's important. Let's get away from that. Well, let's not bother with any of this. So right, next is going to be doing the launch vehicle and making sure that I can actually get to the Mun, and get to Minmus. I want to not just go to Minmus, but I want to actually, once I've left Minmus, head to the edge of Kerbin's SOI and then come back. So I do need to look at how much Delta V, but the main thing that's working is that docking port. So this is eventually going to become, this is going to shove this lander around once it's come from orbit. Once it's gone to Kerbal orbit, and so I need to look at how much exactly I need for that. These should be fine for landing. Because Minmus doesn't have that much Delta V. I mean, if you remember way back when, the Aluminium Rhinoceros was the one that got stuck on the Mun because I ran out of Delta V. That shouldn't happen on Minmus because Minmus has got sod all Delta V. Sod all gravity, so that should be fine. Might want to put some more monoprop on for docking. That's the only other thing I can think of. And if this has got a core in it, therefore I'm going to need to put some kind of electricity generator on it, so that the SES won't run out, either a nuke or solar panels. Anyway, that is for next time. Thanks so much for watching. Do hit like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Do find me Left Ice at leftdice.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, reach for the stars and do lots of testing.